The Beat Generation. A rebellion begins. I saw the best minds of my generation destroyed by madness, starving hysterical naked, dragging themselves through the Negro streets at dawn looking for an angry fix. And so begins Allen Ginsberg Hall, one of the defining works of the Beat Generation. Those first few lines capture much of the spirit of the movement: madness, the streets, drugs, and the poem only gets more controversial from there. This poem debuted in 1955 when the World War II generation was raising their baby boomer kids in neat little houses with picket fences. Dwight Eisenhower was president, and it was a great time to be white, male, and middle class. So, who were these crazy poets and why were they so rebellious? What is Beat Generation? The Beat Generation was a literary movement that began after the Second World War and known for its liberal attitudes towards life. The Beat Generation was influenced by American culture and was broadly popular in 1950s. The movement rejected traditional narrative elements of novels, short stories, and poems and materialism. The writer in this movement valued things like the clear and explicit portrayal of the human condition, sexual liberation, and more. Let's take a look at the definition and explanation of the Beat Generation. The Beat Generation was a movement that was focused on rethinking the way that writers regarded contemporary culture, the past, and the future. The writing that came out of the Beat Generation explored more freely than ever the human condition. This meant writing openly about sex, love, and in addition to darker topics. The most important writers of the period were Herbert Hung, Jack Kerouac, Allen Ginsberg, William S. Burroughs, and Lucien Carr. This group met one another around the Columbia University campus in New York City. An interesting origin, considering that their work is broadly considered to be an anti-academic. The group sought to write in an authentic style that was unfettered by poetic norms of academic expectations. Ginsberg used the following quote to describe their work: first thought, best thought. They were experimental with the construction of their poems as well as their subject matter and how they approached it. They were influenced by the work of poets like William Blake, in addition to the music of the period, specifically jazz, surrealism, and Zen poetry. Drugs also played a role in their understanding of the art, as did a broader disillusionment with literature in the post-World War II period.
Where is the origin of the name Beat Generation? The name Beat Generation was introduced by Jack Kerouac, one of the original founder of the group. He used it as a way to allude to the perception of the group as underground and anti-conformist. The word beat, Kerouac said, was actually first used by Herbert Hung, and Kerouac appropriated to mean upbeat. The group also liked the association with music. What did Beats believe in? The Beats and their advocate found joylessness and purposelessness of modern society sufficient justification for both withdrawal and protest. Beat poets sought to transform poetry into expression of genuine life experience. Characteristics of the Beat Generation are: first, sexual liberation and exploration; second, portraying the human condition clearly; third, experimentation with psychedelic drugs; fourth, rejection of materialism; fifth, exploring religion, Western and Eastern; sixth, rejection of narrative; seven, non-conformity; and eight, spontaneous creativity. Let's dive into historical context. The Beat movement got its start in the late 1940s and began losing momentum by the early 1960s. But the entire decade in between was bountiful time for Beats. The members of the movement, keenly aware the reality of the time, were not lulled into sentimentality commonly associated with 1950s. There is distinct irony about decade that many Americans old enough to remember those years often overlook. The nostalgia that has become synonymous with convertible and road trip hula hoops and Elvis TV and the technology boom, I like Ike pins of the label of happy suburbanites, tend to blur other events of the period that suggest anything but merriment and complacency. The Cold War with Soviet Union, backyard bomb shelter, duck and cover exercise in grade school classroom, the communist revolution in Cuba, McCarthyism at home, and increased racial tension all tell the story of United States quite different from wistful, fond memory that some older Americans still hold.
Although the United States and the Soviet Union had been allies in World War II, the death of Joseph Stalin in 1953 resulted in Nikita Khrushchev's rise to power and his eventual strengthening of Soviet political and military control over Eastern Europe. Both the United States and the Soviet Union had nuclear weapon capabilities, and as tensions between two world powers escalated, so did the buildup of arsenals on both sides. In the United States, personal tensions mounted as well, and some families constructed bomb shelter in their backyard while their children learned how to drop to the classroom floor and cover their heads in the event that bomb sirens sounded during school hours. In an attempt to improve relations, President Eisenhower and Khrushchev were to meet at a summit in Paris in 1959. But 2 weeks prior to the event, a US spy plane was shot down over Russia. The summit still took place, but the Soviet leaders stormed out before it was over, and another planned meeting between Khrushchev and Eisenhower in Moscow was cancelled. Meanwhile, closer to home, Fidel Castro led a communist revolution in Cuba and became that country's ruler in 1959. The Cold War and the threat of real war was a major impetus between Eisenhower's decision to launch the largest public work program in US history. The construction of the interstate highway system, which would connect the nation coast to coast and provide emergency runways for military aircraft, as well as quicker evacuation. The importance of the Beat Generation. The Beat Generation is one of the defining movements of American poetry and one of the most important part of the broader modernist movement. Its influences can be seen in the hippie movement of the following decades and the development of music, film, and visual arts. The Beat Generation is often cited as influential in the demystification of drugs, a broad American spiritual revival, a new respect for land, indigenous heritage, as well as leading force in the sexual revolution. Where does the influence came from? Before the Beats, there were the modernists. Specifically, there were people like T.S. Eliot, who wrote poetry as stiff and formal as was expected from a guy who looked like this. The Beat poets hated Eliot and his aesthetic. Here's Eliot and here's Ginsberg. Eliot represented the establishment, tradition, and adherence to form. His writing was very much divorced from the intimate and emotion. Compared to Eliot's work, Ginsberg's howl is like a catharsis. It feels sloppy, reckless, and intensely personal and emotion. Yet that style didn't originate the Beats. Many Beat poets cited the Romantics like Shelley and Blake as direct with the Beats influences. The Romantics and rebelled against the intellectualism of the Enlightenment. By the 1950s, the pendulum had swung back toward the intellectual and the Beats moved it back toward the personal. They were also influenced by the jazz music, which was still seen as somewhat scandalous and certainly not something you had ever seen Eliot enjoying. Earlier I said that howl feels sloppy and reckless. This is just like a long jazz improvisation. It sounds like they are making it all up as they go, but it actually requires incredible discipline and practice.
Let's talk about criticism. The Beat Generation was met with scrutiny and assigned many stereotypes. Several magazines, including Life and Playboy, depicted members of the Beat Generation as nihilists and as unintellectual. This criticism was largely due to the ideological differences between American culture at the time and the Beat generation, including their Buddhist inspired beliefs. Norman Padoretz, a student at Columbia with Kerouac and Ginsberg, later became a critic of the Beats. His 1958 Partisan Review article, The Know Nothing Bohemians, who was a vehicle critic primarily of Kerouac's On the Road and the Subterraneans, as well as Ginsberg's Hall. His central criticism is that the Beat embrace of spontaneity is bound up in an anti-intellectual worship of the primitive that can easily turn toward mindlessness and violence. Padoretz asserted that there was a link between the Beats and criminal delinquent. Let's take a look at topics. While many authors claim to be directly influenced by the Beats, the Beat generation phenomena itself has had an influence on American culture, leading more broadly to the hipple movement of the 1960s. In 1982, Ginsberg published a summary of the essential effects of the Beat generation: spiritual liberation, sexual revolution or liberation, that is, gay liberation, somewhat catalyzing women's liberation, black liberation, Grey Panther activism, liberation of the world from censorship, demystification and or decriminalization of cannabis and other drugs, the evolution of rhythm and blues into rock and roll as high art form, as evidenced by the Beatles, Bob Dylan, Janis Joplin, and other popular musicians influenced in the later 50s and 60s by Beat generation poets and writers' works. The spread of ecological consciousness, emphasized early by Gary Snyder and Michelle McClure, the notion of fresh planet. Opposition to the military-industrial machine civilization, as emphasized in writing of Burroughs, Huncke, Ginsberg and Kerouac. Attention to what Kerouac called, after Spengler, a second religiousness developing within an advanced civilization. A return to an appreciation of idiosyncrasy versus state regimentation. Respect for land and indigenous people and creatures, as proclaimed by Kerouac in his slogan from On the Road, "The earth is an Indian thing." Examples of writing from the Beat generation. On the Road by Jack Kerouac. On the Road is considered to be one of the great American novels. It was published in 1957 and is based on the writer's travel with his friends across the United States. The novel is a defining work of the Beat generation and has been ranked as one of the most important books of the 20th century. Here are two lines from the novel that help define it. I was surprised, as always, by how easy the act of living was, and how good it felt. The world was suddenly rich with possibility.
Naked Lunch by William S. Burroughs. Naked Lunch is a 1959 novel written by William S. Burroughs, one of the leading members of the Beat generation. It is made out of vintages and can be read in any order. The vintages chapters are taken from Burroughs' personal experience. In the novel, readers will encounter passages about drug addiction, including heroin, morphine, and more. It has been included in several lists of the best novels of the 21st century. Here are the few lines from the book. I know this one pusher walks around humming a tune, and everybody he passes takes it up. He is so grey and spectral and anonymous they don't see him and think it is their own mind humming on the tune. Howl by Allen Ginsberg. Howl is without a doubt Ginsberg's best poem. It is also known as Howl for Carl Solomon and was published in 1956. In Howl and other poems, the poem is separated into 3 parts and a footnote. The first part is the most commonly read. It was described as Ginsberg as a lament for the lamp in American, with instances of remarkable lamp-like youths. Ginsberg wanted the poem to express the pent-up frustrations of his generation and the artistic possibilities. Ginsberg, like the contemporaries, out to throw off academic and societal pressure, turning instead towards creating freedom and expression. Now, the beat movement can be reduced down to the core purpose of critiquing the superficiality of society. Initially, this would seem to indicate that the art and the artist of this movement would not appeal to figure of mainstream pop culture. Through the opposites occurred. As the movement became more substantial, other movements pulled ideas from the beat movement. The counterculture movement latched on the idea of defying expectations and challenging traditional society. Counterculture music reflected similar opinions to that of the beatniks. The top picture to the left is indicative of this crossover, portraying Allen Ginsberg of the beat movement in conversation with Bob Dylan of the counterculture movement. Similarly, Paul McCartney, who at one point was heavily involved in the counterculture movement, produced with Allen Ginsberg the bizarre-like Ballad of the Skeletons, which reflects the beatnik style of art. The beatnik principle of challenging norms extended into the feminist movements and the LGBT movements of the 60s and 70s as well, providing a push to go against the traditional gender roles and the expectation of how relationships worked. In effort to break the system of gender roles, men grew their hair long and women burnt their bras. Such ideas rebelled against the society at those times. Following the examples of the beat movement, while the beat movement was highly controversial to the public initially, the core beliefs, the intentions of beatniks of criticizing society eventually heavily influenced mainstream culture in profound and permanent ways.